Look, memory can change the shape of a room, it can change the color of a car. And memories can be distorted. They're just an interpretation, they're not a record. And they're irrelevant if you have the facts.
Someone wants me. Someone roaming the streets wants me.
Your car's uglier than I am. That didn't come out right.
It's Hard-Headed Sports with Spinny and Fetty Bus. Famous for their podcasts, you can now catch them right here on The Al Travis Show.
Love having them on. We've got Spinny with Hard-Headed Sports. Spinny, how are you, my friend?
Well, it's been an interesting couple of days of basketball, Al.
I got to be honest, this is fantastic. Some of this basketball that is going on is absolutely crazy, and I'm loving it. Just absolutely loving it. Let's just bust down a couple of them. A couple of these games. I'm thinking Cleveland and the Cavaliers are going to win this series. That's what I said. And then the Pacers show up. What's going on with these Pacers? They're leading 2-0.
Yeah. So in the last, I don't know how many years, and the number's so ridiculous. It's like teams are, when you're down by 7 with less than a minute to go, teams are like 3 and 1,200 all time. And 2 of those 3 wins are the Pacers this year. So absolutely crazy performances by them. They just know how to do it. And Tyrese Halliburton, 10 for 11 this year with shots to take the lead in the last minute, the last 2 minutes of the fourth or overtime. 10 for 11. That is crazy numbers. That was an absolute crazy play by him, too, getting his own rebound, dribbling it back out, and then hitting that nasty three. I mean, that was just a crazy game.
You want to bust that down even further. It was the missed free throws before when one of their guys runs from the three-point line to get the rebound. No one's boxing out. The small stuff you learned in 5th grade basketball was not being done. I still thought the Cavaliers would win it, but then again, Halliburton had to come up and got the next free throw and got his own rebound. It was weird. They lost on the free throw line by missed free throws. That's
a great point, Al. This was said on one of the big networks yesterday. Like the first, you
don't think this is a big network, Spinny? Is that what you're saying to me?
I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. But the first thing you learn in basketball is box out the shooter on the free throw, and they didn't do it twice in a row. Twice in a row, they didn't do it. So that was, and the Cavs couldn't get the ball past half court.
Oh, they couldn't get the ball thrown in.
Half court. It's like, what is going on? It was craziness at the end of that game. But the Pacers are good, and I, for one, will continue to doubt them, but I'll probably be in the wrong. I'm going to double down. I think the Cavs are still going to win this series if they can get their healthy team back. If Garland and Mobley are back for Game 3, I think the Cavs will win this series, but got to give the Pacers credit.
Oh, yeah. Now, on the other, again, more great basketball. It's never done over till it's over. I picked the Celtics, who weren't picking the Celtics over the Knickerbockers. That's old school talk, by the way, Spin. Knickerbockers. The Knicks. The Knicks have overcome 20-point deficits 2 games in a row, and you get these Butterbeezers. They're up 2-0 on the Celtics in the Celtics home turf. How crazy were those games?
These games were crazy. Obviously, I'm rooting for Boston, so I couldn't believe it at the end. What is Tatum doing?
Oh my goodness, I have no idea.
That's my first thing. As much as we'll break the person I'm going to compare him down to more later, but Tatum and Ant have had very similar first couple looks as far as playoff games in this series. And the biggest difference that I've seen is Tatum just continues to shoot contested threes, fade away, mid-range, baloney. That last play, it's like he goes to the rim. I wanted him to just take that little 6-foot pull-up, but he decides not to, spins back there to the right, and then is doubled by OG and McHale, 2 of the best defenders. And instead of the bounce pass was wide open. He decides to jump and shoot, and there's just nothing there. He tries to get it through, ball gets stolen, ends game. But it's like Jason, other than the when they were down 1, he drove last night and dunked the ball with 20 seconds. He basically drove the whole court and dunked the ball. But other than that, it's like, dude, go to the rack, please. this is what you got against this team. Why are you pulling up contested threes? Celtics also with 80 missed threes in 2 games.
Yep.
80.
It's
Like,
brick
oh
after
my
brick, and you're like, stop
gosh.
it. Now, give me something on Brunson, though. Come on. We're
Yeah,
watching this
Brunson-
young man become an absolute massive superstar. He's amazing.
Brunson's awesome, and I've said this a couple times on the pod and on the show, but coming out of college, I never thought this was one of my favorite college players of all time. Played at Villanova, played on both their championship teams. One of my favorite college players of all time, but I never thought he would be this good in the NBA. But it's crazy how he is just so good at knowing where his spots are, getting there in a very simple way. Like it's just 1 or 2 back and forth crossover dribble combo moves, and he's getting space and getting his shot. It's nothing fancy, it's nothing crazy, but he is a great end of game big shot maker.
Yeah, we haven't talked for a while. After the first 4 ball games in this level of the tournament, the quarterfinals, all 4 underdogs won. 4 underdog moves, including the next game I want to talk about. The Nuggets end up beating the Thunder in their first game. But last night, I think the Thunder answered the call. Did they not? I think they won by 43.
Yeah, road teams are 6-1 right now in this second round. That's absolutely craziness. First game was great by the Nuggets. They kept OKC still played well, and everyone besides Jalen Williams shot efficiently in that game 1. So the Nuggets just played exceedingly well together. Jokic, obviously, 44 and 22 or whatever.
Yeah.
He's just absolutely unbelievable. And then last night, the Thunder scored 87 points in the first half, break the playoff record for most points scored in a half.
Yep.
And then end up with 150, so they're still scoring 65 in the second half. Absolutely unworldly offensive performance from them. And you're right, they did what I wanted Boston to do and came out in game 2 and said, all right, we lost and we shouldn't have, but it's we're not doing this anymore. So big credit to them. SGA is amazing.
Are you in any of these brackets we talked so far? Where are you sitting? Still Thunder win this now? Now the series is tied up. They've lost home field advantage, but they've got more games to play.
Yeah.
Still think it's the Thunder?
I think Thunder will win in 6. Let's go back.
Yeah.
Indiana, Nixon. Cleveland. I'm going to take Cleveland in 7 with a caveat of if Darius Garland is not back for game 3, then Indiana will win. I think he's huge for them. And I'm going to take Boston in 6. I think Boston's going to win 4 games in a row in this series.
Wow, they're going to turn themselves around.
I know.
Okay, that's
it's
gutsy
crazy,
play.
and I know after watching the first 2 games, people are going to be like, are you okay, Spinny? Like, are you sick or what's going on? But I really believe that from Boston. I think they're that talented. All
right. I want to go to break real quick if we can. Coming back, I really want you, and I was hoping that Fetty would be here as well to tell me what in God's green earth happened to the Wolves. We'll talk about it after this on the Al Travis Show.
All the special interests are represented in St. Paul. But who speaks for you? Center of the American Experiment does. Our policy fellows dig into the tough issues that matter to you and offer common sense solutions on education, taxes, crime, and energy. American Experiment is the trusted, nonpartisan voice of Minnesotans like you. We are working every day to make Minnesota a better, safer, more prosperous place. We are American Experiment. Go to americanexperiment.org to learn more.
Achieving your financial goals requires individual planning and a comprehensive approach. At Midwest Money Management, our mission is to provide you with the knowledge, tools, and confidence to feel comfortable financially today and secure about tomorrow. Learn more at MidwestMoneyManagement.com. That's MidwestMoneyManagement.com.
Securities offered through JW Cole Financial Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through JW Cole Advisors Inc., Midwest Money Management, and JW Cole Financial Inc. and JW Cole Advisors Inc. are unaffiliated entities.
You don't need to ask him his opinion more than once. Al Travis on the Al Travis Show.
We've got Spinny in because I think Fetty Bus is sick with his grief on how well this team played the Timberwolves against the Warriors. Spinny, I believe if I recapture what you all said on Tuesday just before this game, Minnesota's got a bigger bench. They've had a week's rest. The Golden State Warriors are coming off a 7-game series with 1 day in between. They flew right from Houston up here. Best thing they can do is run them into the ground. If I said, okay, that all makes sense. What if I gave you this, Vinny? I'm going to spot you this. Steph Curry only gets to play 13 minutes.
Yep.
At 13-minute mark, he's gone. There's no way we lose that game, right? I turn it off at half because there's no way we're going to lose. You're going to go in, refathom things, figure it out, and they're going to tromp all over this Golden State Warriors team. They end up losing 99-88. We looked like we'd been playing through a 7-game series. Like we were playing in mud. Your thoughts?
5 for 29 from 3, 17%. Credit. I want to give credit out a couple of ways. Credit to the Warriors for their defensive strategy. I thought that was great. They knew the reffing crew that they got was going to be very non-call. They're going to be very let them play. And they took advantage. I mean, that first half, like, Draymond's grabbing Rudy every play. They're grabbing Rudy like he's a freaking $1 million check. Like, they're grabbing this man like it's their job.
Side note, if I can, real quick, Spinny, because that was in the paper today. They were talking about, the coach was talking about how much pushing and shoving and how much fouling that Rudy has. Yeah. The paper today is so funny. This is the Minnesota Star Trip. The picture is of Moody going up for a shot, and Rudy is pulling him down by the jersey. It's like they put the wrong photo in. It's like, here's our headline. The photo says opposite. It was hilarious. Anyway, take a look at that. Go online. Take a look.
I will.
Go ahead.
That's so funny. Anyway, so they did a really good job defensively at switching, contesting us. They just played really well, and we looked like we had never played offensive basketball before in our entire life.
It's like they've never seen a zone, right? That's what kills me. You play zone in 5th grade because no one can man up on the best kids. So you play zone. This is crazy. It looked horrible.
They looked like they had never played a zone, and I will give the Wolves credit on this, which makes it almost worse. Like, we weren't really hucking up threes. We only took 30 threes. There was a stint in the first and second where we were shooting a lot, and then Ant finally, and this is where I want to give him credit over Jason Tatum, he finally was like, screw this. I can't make a three. I'm just going to drive every single ball, every single time. And he couldn't make layups either. He was missing at the rim over and over and over. It was like, oh, my gosh. The only guy that could make a shot in the first half was Jaden. It's like, Jaden, shoot the ball more.
I thought because of those misses like that at halftime with Curry now out of there, don't worry about him. Let's do this differently. I thought because you can't shoot that bad for a whole game, but they did.
But they did. Literally. I thought the same thing. Curry was out. We made that little run, kind of cut it close there in the third quarter, and I was like, okay, this is going to be fine. And then we couldn't stop freaking Pat Spencer and every random guy that they brought in. Huge credit to Steve Kerr, by the way, to have the guts to play that many guys, that many minutes. Like Gary Payton, 26, Moses Moody, 9. Pat Spencer gets 11 minutes. Santos, guy I've never heard of, 5 minutes. Post, guy I've never heard of, 6 minutes in playoff games.
See, but that's the thing. He went 7 people deep. Now, he lost Kerr, so you get Curry, so you got to want it. But he went at least 6 deep. He went deeper than we ever went with our bench. What do we have? 4 guys came off the bench. Tell me, again, I know you love Gobert. Naz Reid, again, coming off the bench, 19 points, 10 more than Rudy. Why is Reid benched and Rudy out there? Rudy should have had a heyday. That's one small team out there for the Warriors. Rudy should be killing it.
And Rudy's got to take better advantage. Again, we're back to game 2 against the Lakers where the man has 6 rebounds in 25 minutes and has balls bouncing right next to him that he's not going for. I don't think we're quite at that level. He was going for balls last night, but it wasn't the production we get. I get why we want to play Rudy against Golden State. He is our biggest mismatch. He's 5 inches taller than any other player on the court. Like, I get wanting to play him, and Naz is not. Naz to me is playing into their small ball lineup, which we don't always want to do. We want to take advantage of our of our size, and then bring Nas in later for the shooting and stuff. But I agree, Nas had a good game. Was probably our best and most consistent player most of the night. Him and Jaden.
Let me go back at Gobi again, because I'm not thrilled.
Go at him. Go at
the
him.
biggest guy, you said 5 inches taller than the next human being out here. We were out rebounded. The Wolves to the Golden State by 10. They got 51. We had 41. That's the difference of the ball game. Go get the rebounds.
Facts. Not to mention 18 offensive rebounds for the Golden State Warriors. 18. Yep. Jimmy Butler himself had 7 offensive rebounds. 7 for one guy.
And Rudy had 7.
Yeah. Rudy had 4. Yeah, Rudy had 4.
Rudy had 7 defensive.
Yeah, there you go. 7 defensive rebounds. 4. Half as many as Jimmy flipping Butler. I'm very frustrated with that level of play. I am encouraged to see how we did go, we are a 3-point shooting team, and we did go away from that when we were struggling finally, which I really liked. And I think we'll be good going forward. I mean, it seems like best case scenario, absolute best case for the Warriors. Steph is back game 6. So
at their best, yeah.
Absolute best.
So give this to me then, because we had such great commentary and got it all wrong in the last game. Who wins this game? It's pretty much a must-win for Minnesota tonight, even with Curry gone, right?
Yeah, I think the Wolves win this game. I think best case scenario for the Warriors is they're down 3-2 to the Wolves going into Game 6, and Curry can come back and they can be competitive. I just don't see a way that we lose more than one of the next 4 games, just given the scoring ability of Golden State. Other than Buddy Hield, who I'm a little scared of, Draymond's not hitting threes like that every game. I'm sorry.
Draymond was 4 for 5. He's shooting 80% from 3 at one point. That's why I went to bed. There's no way this keeps up, and it did.
Yeah, Draymond's not doing that. We're not shooting that bad every game, and we still only lost by 10
11,
or 11, and we played that horrendously bad. Our offense was embarrassing. There were so many moments that I was I would have just wanted to take every player off the court and just lose my voice yelling at them.
Go ahead, Senator.
We were playing.
Senator wants to jump in quick. Go ahead.
So my question was, when I was watching the game, is we're throwing up threes, but nobody was crashing the boards for the rebounds. It was like they threw it up and they started running back down the court and going to play defense. And I'm going, what are you assuming it's going to go in? Nobody wanted an offensive rebound. I just didn't understand that. And so what was the coach telling them? I don't get it.
You're obviously not listening to the show enough, because we talked about this. Golden State needed that to be a running back and forth thing. So the ball goes up. They're all concerned. Steph was going to get down the court and get threes. They were more worried about getting back on a defensive set, which they had to do. But the ball's got to go in first. If it doesn't, you look like fools. No, you're great point. Great point. We've got to fly. So, Spinny, you're saying they're going to take this. I'll tell you what. They booed every time Jimmy Buckets got the ball at the stadium. I like that. It's kind of funny. They end up booing our team when that game got over. And I think they had some. Yeah, I do too. They cannot be that same team coming out tonight. If that first quarter goes south, it's over in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and I don't think they'll be that same team. I'm going to say Wolves in 6. I just don't think the Warriors have enough without Steph.
Fair enough. I appreciate you, Spinny. I really do. Senator Howe, thanks for jumping on. Stick around. We'll talk some politics coming up.